Digital Foundry recently compared the PS4 Pro enhanced version of Assassin's Creed Origins to a $1,000 PC build.
I never thought I would see the day where I get to make this wonderful video about you. You see, you've used up all of your points. See, I put you on a point-based system without you knowing, and for each time that you mess up, I put a point on the system, right? So you've ran out of those, and unfortunately for you, I'm gonna have to dive right into this video and tell you how absolutely wrong you are.
I'll get to the $1,000 price tag in a minute, but the game looked fantastic on both PC and PS4 Pro. But what's with the huge price gap?
You see, console peasants like to bring up the big old price gap. There's not really a price gap, and if there is, it's not a very big one. You see, you have to attribute everything that goes into a PC build versus a console, especially nowadays where you have to pay for your online and you most certainly have to pay for all of your extra peripherals. It's not like they give you a TV, it's the same thing as if you went out and bought a monitor. But I'm pretty sure that that's all irrelevant, according to you though.
Not every game is optimized on PC. Certain developers are notorious for poor optimization on PC. Ubisoft has a reputation with their developers. Still, the wide range of generational graphics cards, GDDR class RAM, and the myriad of PC configurations make performance a challenge, putting optimization in the hands of PC gamers to fine-tune the settings in and outside of the game.
You see, optimization is something that you guys also like to bring up. You see, optimization really needs to be the developer's problem. Not when I buy a game like Call of Duty World War II and it runs like hot ass. I need it to run, and if it can't even run on a base level, then they need to fix it. It shouldn't have to be my problem to figure out, but that's the glory of PC, is that if there is a problem with optimization and I can change it in the game or outside of the game, then I can so do it. But if I'm on a console, I have to wait for Microsoft or Sony to make sure that it completes their check on their end, and that could take a week or 2 weeks, and then they can patch the game. On PC, we get all of this stuff right away.
In order to meet the criteria of Assassin's Creed Origins running on the PS4 Pro at about 1500p 30, the PC Digital Foundry used couldn't handle 4K 60, so they brought the refresh rate down to 30. In my opinion, it would have been more effective to run the game on PC at 1080 60, next to the PS4 Pro at 1500p 30.
That doesn't make any sense, Colt. If they're trying to match 4K on a console, which isn't going to be 4K anyways, to 4K on a PC. You see, there's a lot of factors that go into how you can run a game at 4K 60, and it's even hard for me to do even with my computer with the 1080 Ti, which you'll bring up here in a moment. But it's not incredibly hard either. By being able to change some of the settings inside of the game, I can make it to however I want. Just reduce the draw distance or turn down the depth of field and turn off motion blur. I can achieve 60 FPS pretty easily. And it's not like you need a whole hell of a lot either. I mean, you can play 4K 60 on a GTX 1070 graphics card if you really want to go that extra mile.
Since a higher frame rate improves gameplay dramatically and allows visuals in between frame refreshes to display a sharper, more vibrant presentation. Digital Foundry used a PC that could handle 4K in a huge open world title.
Okay, Colt, now we're just getting off the rails here, because even in that still image at the end, where you have that $1,000 PC build that Digital Foundry used, you added in a 4K Blu-ray player, and it's like you've done this before, and I don't understand why you do it. Physical games are a dying way of life. I mean, they're not going to go away anytime soon. But the entire games industry is starting to see the benefits of giving everything digitally, but that's going to be for a later part of this video. But a $1,000 PC build for 4K 60? No. Okay, listen, Colt. You can build a $500 PC to match the Xbox One X, because most of those games only run at 30 frames per second anyways. But even if I wanted to spend maybe $600 or $700, then my experience will be better. With the Xbox One X, you're just stuck with whatever you get. So even if it is an open world game, it's not like you can run it better than I can anyways.
With a 1080 Ti, which according to my best cost breakdown is around a $1,000 build. And that 1080 Ti alone is $750.
Yes, the 1080 Ti does cost a lot more than your typical graphics card, but that's because it outputs a lot more graphical fidelity in your games, Colt. It is a $750 graphics card, and you expect it to not be expensive? Have you seen what this thing can do?
Digital Foundry could have ran resolution scaled to 2K on PC and compared the extra features like better draw distance and texture filtering than the PS4 Pro. Comparing a $1,000 plus PC to a $400 PS4 Pro seems to be totally pointless.
It's really not pointless, Colt. If you actually watch that Digital Foundry video instead of taking apart the pieces that agree with you, you can go to about the 2-minute and 45-second mark of that video, and you can see where the graphical fidelity is much higher on the PC than it is on the PS4 Pro. You see, because on the PC, it's still running at 4K, and you get 4K assets because you don't have to wait for a patch, it just comes with the game. And it still outshines the PS4 Pro. It's not that it's far behind, it's just that the PS4 Pro can't run everything that high, especially with a CPU-heavy game like Assassin's Creed, where you have a lot of different AI all over the place and the way that they behave, and then you also have to worry about the depth of field and the draw distances. It's not an easy game to run. It might seem easy for you to run it because you're used to a console where they have to make it for one set of hardware, but that's because they don't have to try as hard. They don't have to give you those graphics. Come on, it's not pointless.
Unless the point is to show a console for half the price can nearly keep up with the visuals on PC.
You see, you said nearly because it is pretty close. I mean, I think that's probably the only part that we'll ever agree on is that it nearly gets to the PC, but it won't ever exceed the PC. It will never do that because it's always going to be locked at 30 frames per second. And if they do give you a 60 frames per second option, as they do in a couple of those games, you'll have to tone down that graphical fidelity because you can't have graphics and frame rate on your console.
So is Digital Foundry showing the visual benefits of PC gaming over enhanced PS4 Pro or Xbox One games? The message they are sending to those savvy enough to price out the PC build is that PC gaming will always look better than the latest console, if you're willing to spend the extra money. The most obvious part of this message is that PC has no limits, no restrictions. A console can only be what a console is.
Well, I'm glad that you agree, Colt, but now I can feel that there's a what ifs and a lot of buts coming in.
You can build a PC all day that runs 1080p medium to high settings at 60 FPS for about $400 to $500.
That's the thing about console peasants is that they keep saying things like you can run 1080p 60 all day on a computer that's $400 to $500, but they don't realize that you can run games at 1440p, which is a lot better. But if you're worried about frame rate, then definitely stick with 1080p because it's been mastered on the PC. On the consoles, maybe not so much.
But if you want to run games at Xbox One X standards at around 4K, 30 to 60 FPS high settings, it'll cost you around $750. Now this is my opinion, and I've done a video called Scorpio Killing PC Build back in May. You could do this for about $750.
No, don't worry, Colt. I already saw that video, and it was retarded then and it's still retarded now. In fact, let's go ahead and we'll roll the clip. Roll the clip.
I'm using PC Part Picker because it is highly trusted and recommended by PC enthusiasts, and it automatically searches for the lowest price and adds rebates into the bottom line. The VR 4K PC starts with a great motherboard, the Gigabyte GA78LMT-S2 Micro ATX for $59.99.
Oh, thank goodness, you actually got something from Gigabyte in there. They're a good company. Go ahead and let's see what the rest of your build has.
Next, we'll press in the AMD FX 8370, an 8-core CPU for $162.76.
Okay, you can actually get that for about $50 cheaper for the 8350, which is essentially the same thing, but you're losing me a little bit, but go on.
This CPU doesn't have a lot of longevity since it's a 2011 chip, but it's built for 30 FPS and some 60 FPS titles, and it will meet the requirements for VR. Let's drop down 2 sticks of 4GB G-Skill DDR3 RAM for $59.99.
Okay, RAM is important, yes.
Scorpio comes with a 7200 RPM 1TB hard drive, and this Western Digital Caviar Blue hard drive only costs us $48.33. PCs require more power than consoles because, well, they do a lot more, and this build will get a 500 watt EVGA bronze certified supply for $36.88 after rebate.
Man, you found some really good deals. I need to start shopping with you if you're going to find all these parts, except for the CPU, of course, because that's dumb.
But wait, there's more. The star of the show is the GPU, and dealer has proven that the Radeon RX 480 8GB card will get us to native 4K with no problems, while also satisfying the VR requirements. The GPU is $244.99.
Dealer Gaming isn't even that smart of a human, but I'll just skip over it. That's a different video, but continue.
A console-killing PC is worthless if it can't get online for free, and the network port will only cost us 2 months of Xbox Live at $12.89.
And this right here is the part of that video that it starts to fall apart. Why in the world do you need a network card if there's already an Ethernet port on the motherboard? Why do you need to spend that extra money? I mean, it's only $13. You can get like 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks. But holy shit, Colt, you're just adding on cost because you want it to be overpriced.
Everything's looking good for the Scorpio killing build until we stay true to the specs and throw in an Ultra HD Blu-ray drive.
Alright, I'm gonna have to stop you there, Colt, before I continue with this video, unfortunately. But the 4K Blu-ray drive is not required on a PC, and I'm going to tell you one main reason why. It's because digital sales are overtaking physical sales, and on PC, it's primarily and dominantly digital sales. There are a few PC physical copies of games, but I can almost guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to get everything digitally because, you know, physical distribution costs a lot of money, especially since people like EA and Activision are trying to get their games sold digitally. They'll do anything if they open up like Origin Access or even EA Access on the Xbox. They're just doing away with the days of old, which is physical copies.
Pioneer offers the internal drive for $226.51. We still need a case to screw in all this shiny sexiness. The NZXT S340 mid-tower case will give you that "my machine doesn't look like an outdated VCR" look.
Yeah, that's really funny, Cole.
For $61.99. None of this is possible without an OS, and we are loading Windows 10. Oh, and we want to be able to play Forza Horizon 3 Hot Wheels, right? You can attempt to get Windows 10 from a shady site for $20, but we're going to go ahead and get it here for $87.89. Now, if you're great at math, you may suspect that we are over budget, especially since the budget was under the premise that I can build a PC that craps all over the Xbox Floppio. This VR-ready 4K gaming PC comes to $1,006.
Okay, now go ahead and take away the Blu-ray player. It's right here in this next part. Go ahead and take it away.
If you wanted to argue that the 4K Blu-ray player has nothing to do with gaming, you're right. So let's drop the Blu-ray drive, and $1,006 now turns into $780.
That's a pretty solid deal for $780. Like I said, the CPU is probably your only part where you messed up, and this stupid ass network card that you keep putting in it. But besides that, it's a pretty decent PC build, and I would probably recommend that to anyone.
Now the PC games like a Scorpio, but it can't play 4K Blu-ray discs.
Jesus Christ, Colt, that's because you don't need to play 4K Blu-ray disc, because it doesn't require it to play any games. It doesn't require it, period. I don't know how you keep trying to insert this goddamn thing into it. It doesn't belong there, Colt.
And if you're willing to be honest and accept that the PC sites have been unable to build an Xbox One X equivalent for under $500, you have to wonder what the point is of comparing PC visuals to consoles.
So consumers can make a validated choice on what they want to buy, so that way they can have information at their fingertips before they go out and spend $500 on an Xbox One X, or before they buy a computer with those exact same parts. Does that not make any sense to you, Colt?
The PS4 versus Xbox One comparisons make more sense since the two consoles are so similar.
Similar as in they both play the same games, or the PS4 is going to be more powerful than the base Xbox One, or that the Xbox One X is more powerful than the PS4 Pro. You see the difference in power there? It doesn't make any sense, so why would they even do that? It's so consumers can make a great choice whether or not they want to spend that money. Like, if I wanted to buy a Titan X, I'm not going to just say, yeah, this is probably going to be the best thing for me and go out and buy it. I want to look at benchmarks. I want to see what it's like on other people's computers and see what they have to say. I'm going to go check Digital Foundry to see what it stacks up to compared to a GTX 1070 or even my current 1080 Ti. I know that this concept escapes you, but this is pretty much it.
With one always being a little more powerful than the other. But comparing the Pro and the X to a $700 to $1,200 PC seems counterproductive when PC gamers are constantly claiming that they have a $500 PC that beats a console.
Because they do. A PC will always be able to beat a console. The only area that consoles excel is in used games. But other than that, the PC is pretty much your end-all be-all. And I know you're going to bring that up later on in the video.
It's your choice. You also have the choice to price out a cheaper and better build by getting used and refurbished parts or carrying over compatible components from your last PC, but you can't brag about the cost of your used PC compared to a brand new console.
Yes, they can. You see, when you build a PC, it's absolutely yours. You can do more than play games on it. You can do anything you want to on your PC. Customize it the way you want. You can run all these different programs. You don't have to be restricted to one or the other. So yeah, they can brag about it, even if the Xbox One X may cost more or less than their PC, because they'll always have the option to do whatever they want. They'll have the option to pick up those used parts. So what about the people that buy used Xbox Ones or the people that buy used PlayStation 4s? Are they not real gamers because they bought something used and they just can't play on the same level as you? Fuck off with that, Colt.
This week, PC World built an X-like PC using a Ryzen 3 CPU and an RX 580 foundation. All components were comparable to the Xbox One X, and thankfully, they were not impacted by the data mining price hike. This build did not include Windows 10 or a controller or a mouse and keyboard, which would add an additional $60 to $100 to their build price of $705.
Or you can go to a thrift store and buy cheap mice and cheap keyboards, or get one from one of your friends. You probably have one laying around from doing something. Just use those until you can afford a different one. But even after that, the benefits that you'll see from buying new mice, like especially ones that are from Razer, no, this is not an ad, but the ones that you buy from Razer will probably serve you pretty well, or even Logitech.
In order to run AAA console games at around 4K at 30 FPS with high PC settings and effects using high-resolution textures, these parts are required to meet a fair comparison. It just can't be done.
It can be done, Colt. Not every game that runs on the Xbox One X is going to be able to run at 4K 60. Hell, it's not even going to halfway run at 4K 30. I mean, at this point in time when I'm making this video, it's not out yet, and you should still keep an open mind. Digital Foundry was the one that released the information about the Xbox One X, and at a point, all of you Xbox fanboys hated them for coming out with all of this stuff bashing the Xbox One X and how it wasn't as good as the PlayStation 4 Pro. But now all of a sudden, their information is pertinent. You need Digital Foundry for that validation that you so desperately seek to make sure that the beast is more powerful than a PC.
Now, I know PC gamers are going to swear that prices will drop on all of these components dramatically in the next 6 months.
Because they will.
The other thorn in their side is the Blu-ray drive. PC World included a $50 standard Blu-ray drive, not a UHD drive, because the 4K Blu-ray player added over $200 to their configuration. So even without the optical drive, the build is still over $700.
79 plus 72... plus 230 plus 38 plus 54 plus 56. That's $529, Colt. I don't think that your math is right. Well, let's go ahead and we'll just add in the operating system. So let me go ahead and add 88 because that's how much you said it was. That's $617. I'm sure that there's other parts missing on that list because you didn't show the entire thing, but that's a really good price. I don't think you know how to math.
If you want to get into PC gaming because you don't agree with the mid-generation refresh cycle, or you don't want to have so many games locked at 30 FPS, then go ahead and build a PC. You'll enjoy the benefits of free multiplayer.
Yep, you get uncapped frame rates and you get free online multiplayer, so none of your games that you buy will be locked behind another paywall. Because you've already bought the game, why spend on a subscription service that doesn't do a whole lot for you at the end? I mean, it's $60 a year. Why in the world would I spend that when I could buy a new game?
Minus the 48 games they give you for a $45 yearly membership of Xbox Live.
Wait a minute. How much did you just say it was for a year?
Minus the 48 games they give you for a $45 yearly membership of Xbox Live.
$45 a year? Colt, you have it on the graphic right there in the top left. It says $60 a year. Anybody that's been on the Xbox or at least keeps up with the consoles know that it's $60 a year. I think you're just making up numbers and you don't know math at this point.
But you'll also enjoy a library of games tenfold over all consoles combined, ranging from 1977 to 2017.
I'm not even going to go into the math with you about tenfold over all of the consoles, but you are right to an extent. We do have almost every single game ever made, especially in different iterations as well. And don't worry, I'm sure you guys are going to bring up the whole emulation thing eventually, because that would be bad.
You'll have the flexibility and freedom to play your games at any resolution or any frame rate you desire. A PC also does just about anything.
That's it. He said it. That's it. That's good. We're at the end of the video. That's it, guys. Tune in, subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
But if you're a gamer looking to play the biggest games on your 4K TV for around $500, get a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X.
Because we don't want those unwashed masses of PC elitists coming in to tell us how to play games. Even though they're trying to save us money and they talk to us like people, we want to stick up for these evil corporations that just want to down us. Go away.
You can build a $500 PC just to prove to console peasants that it can be done. And you'll enjoy every single game at 1080p 60. But if you want to game at 4K on your brand new UHD TV, benchmarks have been shown that the budget build is running medium to low settings.
So pretty much the same as an Xbox One X, right? Because you already said in the previous part of this video, like just a few minutes ago, you said that we could run it at any resolution that we want to, any frame rate that we want to. So even if it's in 4K at low and medium, it's still 4K.
And as Extreme Gamer Nerd put it, you'll end up playing at least 2 years at 1080p at high settings.
I suppose you're talking about newer games, because any game that you're playing right now at 1080p high settings, you can still play 2 years from now at 1080p high settings. Like it never stops, it never degrades over time. Like you'll always be able to play them at the same settings. Now, I know that you're showing pictures of 1060s right here, and the 1060 is capable of 4K. I'm not understanding why you're trying to just run this one away by saying that it's only meant for 1080p and it can't do anything else. It cannot do 4K at all.
This proves that price versus performance is real.
Of fucking course it is, Colt. The GTX 1070, when I was researching it to upgrade, it had the best price to performance, which is why I went with that instead of a GTX 1080. Price to performance is very important, and it's very real. How are you trying to dismiss this as some fantasy factor that is just out there? See, I almost said fantasy factory because I like Robin Big. But yeah, fuck you, Colt.
Gamers bragging about 1080 Ti's running at 4K 60 Ultra on every game, well, except for Assassin's Creed Origins because it couldn't do it. They're playing on a PC over double the price of the Xbox One X.
You know that's a lie, right, Colt? Like, you know what you just said was completely retarded and wrong. It is going to be incorrect every single time you say it. In fact, let me go ahead and run that clip again.
Gamers bragging about 1080 Ti's running at 4K 60 Ultra on every game, well, except for Assassin's Creed Origins because it couldn't do it. They're playing on a PC over double the price of the Xbox One X.
Like I said, the Assassin's Creed Origins game is CPU heavy because of the AI that's in it. You'll always see performance drops, and you'll probably see them even worse on the Xbox One X. It's just something that's going to happen. And you can get 60 frames per second while playing in 4K. It's kind of hard to do with open world Ubisoft games, but it's definitely achievable. Like I said, turning down depth of field and even turning off the anti-aliasing, you'll get those results.
And almost triple the performance of the PS4 Pro. Why is the gap so wide between PCs and consoles in performance and price? Well, it scales actually. PCs are purpose-built per consumer. Pre-builts are a little pricey in comparison, but each component is retailed to the customer. PC builds will never be as cheap as consoles from now on.
You do know that PCs can be as cheap as you want to make them and as expensive as you want to make them. Like, they will still be cheaper than consoles, and they will still be able to do a lot more. Maybe not what you want them to do with your fake 4K or your checkerboarding or whatever it is you guys do nowadays, but you'll be able to do more, like edit videos, edit photos. You'll be able to do your taxes. You'll be able to use Discord, because Discord's not on the console. You'll be able to run multiple applications. You'll be able to have multi-monitor support. You'll be able to actually run an HTC Vive or an Oculus Rift. I know the PlayStation 4 has the PlayStation VR, which is pretty good. It's entry-level VR. But you see, it doesn't matter what you say at this point because you've already said that the PC is the way to go. You said it earlier.
Sony and Microsoft have designed the Pro and the X to deliver high-quality performance at a bulk price with millions of consoles packed to stores each month.
You just said high quality and games that run at 30 frames per second. That's not high quality. 30 frames per second in the year 2017, and we're about to be in the year 2018, is unacceptable.
Because the point of consoles is not to make money on the hardware. The base consoles made around 30 per sale. Microsoft is breaking even with the X.
Really makes you wonder why they don't put high quality parts in with their high quality games. I mean, if they want these games to be at uncompromised 4K, they would have a better CPU in them.
Because as the Xbox division head said, consoles are software platforms. Microsoft is hoping to adopt customers to the Xbox platform for residual revenue from Xbox Live, digital games programs like EA Access and Game Pass, and many more.
Those programs are definitely pro-consumer because it gives them more choices. Now, as far as Xbox Live as a service is concerned, why are you paying $60 a year? Because, you know, those Xbox One games that you get free each month, those go away if your subscription lapses. You keep the 360 games, you know, those old games, and of course those don't look really good in power, but, you know, you still get to keep those. The Xbox One X versions of those games, or any Xbox One games, they just don't exist if you don't keep your gold membership. So they siphon $60 a year from you. How is this okay?
A purpose-built console like the X, rivaling many high-end PCs, hundreds of dollars more expensive than the Xbox.
You say high-end like they're supposed to be super powerful computers. The Xbox One X is not super powerful. If it was super powerful, if it was truly a high-end PC, it could play those games in 4K at 60 frames per second. But it can't, because they're locked to 30, because it's not powerful enough, Colt. You see, the Xbox One X was built on a campaign to say uncompromised 4K, and it can't even deliver more than 30 frames per second on a game like Shadow of War, which runs at 60 frames per second on the PC. How are you okay with saying these things and they're blatantly false? They are just absolutely untrue statements. Just because one developer said that it's like a high-end PC doesn't mean that it is. Especially if they're giving you compromised 4K.
This is why PC will never win the cost per performance argument.
LOL, what?
Can you upgrade the Xbox One X or PS4 Pro in a year or two by adding more RAM or a better CPU? No, but console gaming is the opposite of PC gaming. Over the course of a console lifecycle, the games get a little better looking as developers learn new tricks to work the closed configuration to the max.
Or if you're on PC, you can just get the game without any patches and it'll be in 4K. I don't have to sit here and wait for them to say, okay, give them the green light. We can put this on the Xbox One X now. It's great, guys. We didn't really get it to 4K, but 1620p works, right? I mean, 30 frames per second is what you guys want. It's more cinematic.
PC gamers who built a budget PC at around $500 will have to tune down settings to keep the latest AAA games running smoothly on older hardware.
You know what, Colt? Something that a lot of you console peasants do is you bring up the fact of AAA games. Like, you say that you can't run the latest AAA games. That's retarded, because not every PC gamer is interested in AAA games. We have thousands, even millions of games that we can play that are either better and they're optimized better for the PC, and they feature like 0 to just a slim amount of microtransactions, and we can play those. We don't have to worry about AAA games. That's retarded. I can play any game I want to, even on a gaming computer that has a GTX 1070 in it, even a 1060. My one friend has a GTX 1060 in his computer and he can play Forza 7 flawlessly. Do you hear the things that you say?
It's always best to put your money where the CPU is and spend a little extra to future-proof the $500+ you may put into your build. I've seen the potato masher builds. I've seen the PC part lists, like hundreds of them. And I'd say this to you as a fellow gamer. I would not let my friend, passionate about gaming, build a budget PC, because for all that money, they won't be satisfied with it.
I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely blown away by the performance of this computer. I thought when I put it together and put the 6GB GTX 1060 in there, slapped a new power supply and added memory, that maybe at best I'd be doing like high settings, medium settings, maybe some ultra on 1440p. But I never thought until I actually started doing benchmarks that this PC would be as capable as it is when gaming in 4K. But you saw the benchmarks, you saw the results right there. You can game in 4K at medium, high, and sometimes ultra settings and get a hell of a gaming experience, and you will stay above 30 frames per second. And the other thing that impressed me, and I was concerned about it when I first put this rig together, is how little of a bottleneck this old Sandy Bridge i5 was. Even in big AAA games like Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, the CPU usage in the gaming station topped out at 73% in Wildlands and 79% in the Division, which is cutting it close, but those numbers are nowhere near the i5 2400 in this rig being a bottleneck. And the fact that the processor in this computer wasn't a bottleneck was pleasantly surprising.
Take it from me, guys. I built a $800 budget PC in 2015. And if you think I'm just an Xbox corporate slave, remember that I do a lot of gaming on my $1,000 PC, which I built 2 years ago.
Whoops, I guess he forgot to math again. Also, you sound kind of condescending. It's almost like you just said, I built a PC, so therefore listen to me, because I know everything about PCs and how terrible they are.
And after a year and a half, I added 8 gigs of RAM, sold my GTX 960, and upgraded to a $440 GTX 1070. PC gamers know this. They won't admit it when they want to win the budget build argument, but a PC is an investment. Don't follow the advice of a desperate PC gamer who has insecurity issues about consoles that are finally becoming decent PCs in the hardware department.
Yeah, things like decent means running games at 30 frames per second. Decent means you can only do what Microsoft tells you that you can do. I mean, it's a closed environment, Colt. It will never be on the level of a PC because they won't allow you to do certain things. And do you know why that is? Because it could, quote unquote, potentially damage the console. That's why.
This is Colt Eastwood. I've come a long way from 2015, being an actual certified console peasant and learning the joys and the wonder of PC gaming over the past 2 years. I've also gone back. I've looked at those 10 reasons why consoles are better than PCs. And I'd have to say, I still agree with a few of the points there.
What points, Colt? Because most of those 10 arguments against the PC that consoles are better usually result in people saying, well, we got a controller. Well, yeah, you can plug a controller into a PC. Oh, well, we got more social stuff. Steam allows you the option to voice chat with people, message them. We have Discord. You can now video chat with people. It's like a million times better than Skype, which, by the way, just a little side note, is owned by Microsoft, so take with that information what you will. I mean, there's nothing that has not been listed in those videos that has not been debunked. The only one is the used games. That's the only thing.
Because no platform is perfect.
Then why recommend someone to buy an Xbox One X when it has no exclusives and it is underwhelming compared to a PC? I'm seriously just about to give up.
No platform is the be-all, end-all.
Now, it took a little while for us to get here, but I told you he would say it. It is the end-all be-all on PC. There's so many pros that there's virtually just, like, there's only, like, one con. Like, there's only one. Like, I don't even understand how you're just getting this out here. Like, there's very little cons compared to the enormous pros of having a PC.
Not even PC.
Oh, well, then you're just retarded then.
And a gamer like me that loves playing the 200 games I own on the Xbox One and the 200 games I own on Steam, Uplay, and Origins, no platform is perfect.
You know, I have a lot of games on my Steam and on my Xbox One, but when I went to your profile on the Xbox, there were a lot of 0%. I mean, anybody can go look at this. It's out there for the general public, and there's a lot of zeros there. So either you don't play those games or you've played them and you just cannot video game. I mean, there's probably games that I have like that. I'm sure there is. But don't brag about having all of these games if you don't play hardly any of them.
Find what platform you enjoy most or where your friends are. Be excited that the Xbox One X is delivering better visuals, up to 4 times more than your last Xbox.
That you spent $500 on the original Xbox One, and then you spent another $200 to $300 on the Xbox One S. I mean, sure, you spent $800 before, but don't worry, guys. This is the system that we've been waiting for.
Be excited that the Pro and the X are pushing devs to make games look better for everybody.
Yeah, that's about the only positive thing that they've done all year long.
With 100 million plus consoles out there,
and over 2 billion PCs in just the year 2015 alone,
making everyone do a little better is always a good thing.
Thank goodness that that's over. But, I mean, Colt Eastwood, do a little bit more research. Like, all the things that I found, which I'll put the links in the description below, but all those things that I researched to combat you took me about the same amount of time it probably took you to come up with these bullshit reasons as to why PC gaming isn't what you think it is, and that the Xbox One X is great beyond compare. Honestly, I think I've done enough rambling for everyone that's been watching this video, so I appreciate it if you stayed all the way to the end. I mean, this has been a long boy. This is probably one of my longest videos, but thanks for stopping by. And also, don't forget, there's a whole bunch of stuff like in the end card. So make sure you guys watch all those and go to those links, especially since they contain a lot of great stuff. And also, I've set up a playlist on SoundCloud. I don't know how many of you frequent the SoundCloud, but I put up a playlist and it features all of the music from this season. And just to set the record straight, I'm really, really sorry that I haven't come out with videos as frequently as I would like to. It's just been a really rough time with work since I switched to a new schedule. But I'll try to at least get some more videos out before that time is up. I got a 3-day weekend coming up, but I'll see if I can try to squeeze in some time for that. But I do appreciate it. Every 331 by this time? Yeah, all of you subscribers. I like a lot of your names and they pop up on my phone, so just take solace in that. But I'll see you guys in the next video.